Hi, I'm Lane and back to the kitchen. Today's Sunday, so I'm going to take the time to do a little bit fancier dinner and really enjoy it and have fun making it. And of course, you guys know me, I'm all about Mexican food, right? So today I'm going to do a traditional Chile Verde and all the side fixings. Y'all follow along. Let's have some fun. Okay, looking over my shoulder, and hopefully I don't bump the tripod again, you can see that I've already cubed up most of my pork. Now over here, I trimmed a lot of the fat, not all of it, but you can see that some of those are a little thick, you know. So I want to keep that fat because I want to start the pan with that, but I don't want it in the final recipe. What I got today was some boneless center cut pork chops that were on sale. And you know, a lot of these recipes were originally created to use the tougher cuts of meat, so pretty much anything you get, as long as it's not a bone, is going to be just fine. But I like to go ahead and check the sale meats and see if I can get a little bit better cut if I can. So I got 3 of the chops already cubed up. I'll do this last one so you can see about how thick I'm doing this. Now, Chile Verde is normally a very small dice traditionally, but I like to have something a little bit more to chew on, and so I do this little bit larger dice, not nearly as big as I would do stew meat or something like that, but still fairly decent. And that's all there is to that. Okay, moving on. Okay, I've got my marinating bag here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some oil. Like I said, I always like to use light olive oil. 1/4 to 1/3 of a cup of that. One of my little secrets is to put just a little bit of apple cider vinegar, about 1/4 cup. Now it's time for some spices. Looking for about a tablespoon of chili powder, maybe just a touch more. Now cumin almost automatically goes with chili powder, but you always want to do less cumin by 1/2 to 1/3 of what you did in your chili powder. Gotta have some garlic. Put a little bit of that in there. Now chili powder, a lot of people don't know that a lot of the varieties already have oregano in them. The one that I use is from Mexico and it's nothing but chilies. So I'm going to put a little bit of oregano in there. And this is something you don't want to do unless you want it really spicy. We're going to put ground cayenne pepper in there. Now, you know, I was raised on jalapeno juice in my baby bottle, so it's okay with me. And one of my little secret ingredients is just a little bit of cinnamon. And you can leave that out. As a matter of fact, you can leave this whole step out for Chile Verde. There's nothing saying that you have to marinate the meat. A lot of people will actually do it right in the pan. They won't even use a lot of the spices. They'll do it very, very mild. Now you'll notice that I've put this in the bag and I'm kind of playing with it. This is so it'll all mix up together before I turn it back open and put the meat in. I'm not going to put the fat in because, like I said, that's not going to be part of the recipe. That's just going to start the pan. Pork fat has such great flavor. You can even use it to toughen up some stews and whatnot, give it better flavor. Now this time around, I've got the bag with a lot of air in it, and I'm just going to toss this around a couple of times. Ain't no big deal. Not like it's hard or anything. Okay, now if you look down there, you can see that very quickly everything's been coated. Now I'm going to let the air out of the bag. Thusly, and it's ready for marinating. So this is going to sit in my refrigerator for several hours until I'm ready to cook. No, I'm not going to make you wait through that on the video. Okay, at this point, if you've been watching the other video that goes with this, The rice has been cooked. I'm now to the point where I'm fluffing it every couple of minutes. It's off the heat, but it's going to stay nice and warm. It's not a problem. But now that the rice is done, I can go ahead and concentrate on the Chile Verde. And the next thing I got to do is chop up some onions. I've got my bowl board and my ulu knife again. I just thought I'd show you how cool this thing is. See how quickly I can cut those down? You can also see some of the outside ones that are kind of tough. They don't want to chop, so you just pull those out and keep moving. Now I know that just doesn't look quite as cool as some fancy chef whipping his knife around, but remember, I'm half blind. Besides, I'm not so much about showing off while I cook as just getting the job done. And there it is, quick and painless. Now, I'm using the same pan I did the rice in, and all I did was just wipe out any last few grains. Didn't worry about taking the oil out because I wanted to go ahead and have a little bit of coating for when I drop the meat in. And remember that fat? Here it is again. Now what this is going to do is just add some flavor for me. I'm going to remove all of this before I put the meat in. But what I want right now is just that pork fat flavor. Okay, you can see that the fat's browned up nicely. The other thing this did for me is it let me check the temperature of my pan. Make sure that it wasn't too hot. So now I'm just going to get that fat out of there. Promised I wouldn't eat it, right? Next thing to go in, about a half a cup of onion. That's not all the onion I chopped. I'm going to save the rest for something else. Just going to give this a little bit of a head start. Not much. Just want to release a little bit of that flavor. Now I'm going to take my Ziploc bag, and if you can see it, what I've done here is I've gotten everything all the way to the zip. And so when I open it, hopefully, yeah. See, it's just going to drop right out without me having to do anything much at all. Look at how nice and even that marinade is. Now I'm just going to let that brown up for a minute. Okay, my meat's nicely browned, simmering up really well. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add some chopped green chilies. Now if you really want to go all out, you can do your own chilies. I generally do the canned, mostly because where I live it's not real easy to get a whole bunch of fresh chilies. Now remember, I said in the beginning, you can do this as easily as just cutting up some pork, throw a little bit of onion and the pork in there, brown it up, and then drop the green chilies in. You don't even have to do the marinade. Okay? Today I'm going to do a little fancier. So in addition to the green chilies, I'm going to add some salsa verde that I get in the Mexican aisle. And this actually has tomatillas in it. And that's another flavor. It's a little hot, not real hot, but it's just a different flavor to add to those green chilies, and I really enjoy it when I do it this way. Now that I've got all that in there, I'm going to start blending it. Now you see with the marinade I did with the spices, the sauce does not stay green. That's okay with me because it sure tastes good. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to bring that up to simmer, and we're going to let it simmer for 15 or 20 minutes and let everything develop. Look at that stuff, just so bubbling and happy. That may actually be the happiest chili I've ever seen in my life. Okay, time to plate. Now, we'll go that way. Because this is rather soupy and I'm serving to a plate, I'm going to use a slotted spoon. You see, I'm still getting a lot of the sauce. I'm just letting the thinnest stuff go back in. There's that part of it. Just the littlest sprinkle of salt all the way across. I have no need for cheese on there yet. We'll do that at the table. I normally do it that way so that everybody can have the amount of cheese they want. I'm going to put 1 dollop of sour cream there to suggest, if you will. And there it is. Chile Verde. Now it's time to have the best fun. I'm going to go eat some. So there you go. Chile Verde, a little bit fancier than the easy recipe, but not too much harder. Ton of fun. It tastes great. It's very mild. Even with all of the things that I put in the marinade, it was still very mild. If you want to heat it up, you're going to have to add some hot sauce or some habaneros. So this is really good for people that like the milder side of Mexican food. Y'all enjoy that. I'm Lane on base. Keep thumping.